This episode of The Libby O Show is brought to you by Suite 501 and Integrated Production Solutions.
Hey y'all, I'm Sammy Arriaga and you're watching The Libby O Show.
How did she do it? Do it.
Libby, oh, Libby, oh, Libby,
3, 2,
Libby.
1.
It's the Libby O Show.
What's up, everybody? Libby O here with The Libby O Show. Today we're at Suite 501 in Franklin, Tennessee, and today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Sammy Arriaga. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. It's good to be here. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
You have a brand new music video out today.
I do.
For your single, Something We Can Dance To.
Yep.
And I've been listening to it all day, and I want to just hear more about that song and what it means to you and why today is the official video release.
Well, the video has been quite a process to put together. As you know, I had two features on the song. I had Charlotte and Ollie, and I had to fly them in to be part of the video.
Yeah.
And we shot it in Ashland City. I'm not sure if you've been in that area, but it's really cute. It's like super country, kind of worn out. And we picked a cool looking gas station, and we shot with my good friend Dylan Rucker and Daniel Vorlet. And I'm just excited for people to see it. Yeah. I really think it brings out the true nature of the song. Today's the day.
Today is the day, and that people can check it out on YouTube.
That's right.
Facebook, everywhere. So what made you choose a collaboration with these two other artists, Charlotte and Ollie? Was that your original plan, or did you just kind of come up with this idea of, hey, I want to involve more artists in this fun song here?
So Ollie and I actually collaborated on a song I'd say maybe a couple years ago, called Hoodie. Okay. And I actually met Ollie through my producer, and it was just a no-brainer. I mean, I just love what Ollie brings to the song, and I come from a rap background, being from Miami. I grew up listening to rap and hip-hop, and so I've always had a huge love for that. So it's really cool to be able to blend my pop country knowledge with his rap influence. And then Charlotte's been one of my favorite singers in town. I met her at a whiskey jam one night. Nice. And she killed it. And I told her that night, I'm like, we got to do a song together sometime. And I felt like bringing her onto this record would really bring a cool taste to the song. And I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out.
I bet. And I love the video. I think it's so fun. And I think you've done a great job of just showcasing, I think throughout your career, of what it means to always value collaborations.
That's right.
And to show how versatile you are, because I know that different genres are so important to you and your craft. So talk more about the musical influences for this song in particular.
So when I went in to write this song, I actually wrote it like 4 years ago, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah. My co-writer friend, Aaron Schurz, who's written some of my other songs as well, Cold in Miami, Love Songs, Hoodie actually. We sat down and I told him, I'm like, look, One Dance by Drake is the biggest record of all time. Alongside Despacito and a few other records like Shape of You, Ed Sheeran. But what those records share is Latin influence. Like Shape of You has a Latin influence, Despacito does, One Dance. So I'm like, why hasn't country had a big hit with that beat? You know what I'm saying? So, me being of Cuban descent, I was raised with that beat my whole life. So I wanted to bring that rhythm and then mesh it with some country lyric. Yeah. And I feel like that's what we did with Something We Can Dance To. We blended both worlds, and I was really pumped when we finished that song that day. But it took us 4 years to put that song out. And especially during this year, I mean, with COVID and all, I feel like everybody needed something they can dance to. So it was just kind of a no-brainer. For sure. Yeah. If you could put together a playlist of songs that you could dance to, what would that include? Ooh, including the song. That's a good one. Something We Can Dance To. Besides that, just if you could list, songs from every genre or just a few genres, what would they be? Lately, I've been jamming out to a bunch of Roddy Ricch. I love Roddy Ricch. I love hip hop. I listen to hip hop quite a lot. Believe it or not, let's see. Camila Cabello's got some bangers.
Okay.
She's got some good ones. I mean, Drake. You have to put Drake in there. Dua Lipa's got some cool ones.
She's in all my spin classes, so I feel like that is for 100%.
Yeah, she's got some killer songs with some awesome grooves. And then you got Bieber, you got Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all releasing the bops. There's just so many. Then you got country music, but country music is a different kind of groove.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way that you dance to a hip hop song is a little different from the way you dance to a country song. But that's when the fusion comes in.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So we're just trying to switch it up and get playful with it.
Yeah. And did Joy Spears choreograph
That's right.
this video? Okay,
Yep. We had Rollins and Joy Denver Spears do the choreography for the video, and they absolutely killed it. I love the way that it turned out. I really wanted to embrace just my roots from being from Miami, just that fierceness, with the dance moves, but at the same time aesthetically and body language wise, keep it kind of Nashville.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just kind of blend both worlds, and I really think they did an awesome job.
They really did. Yeah. And Joy, of course, is one of my favorites. She was on the show
love
earlier.
Her to death, yeah.
Taught me how to dance, which is a challenge of itself. But she's such an awesome person, and it's really cool just to see different people that I know working together to fulfill
she was the first
projects.
person that came to mind. The song has the word dance in it, and who better? So
can you talk about your audience a little bit and what it's been like to maybe have fans from your own culture, but those who maybe have not experienced listening to country with a little bit of Latin influence there?
It's kind of crazy because when I do shows, I don't kind of like off the rip, I don't really say that I'm Hispanic. I kind of wait a little bit. Yeah. So I just go ahead and give them the music and see the vibe of the room.
Yeah.
And then I hit them with hey, I'm Cuban and I speak fluent Spanish, and here's a song that I've done. Yeah. And then I hit them with one of those fusion kind of songs, and people are surprised. I mean, it's not a normal thing, to blend those two worlds. It's not something that you commonly hear. Mm-hmm. So it's been cool to be able to, to capture some fans back home, some fully speaking, like Spanish speaking people that don't even understand English. They hear my music and they're saying like, oh, I love country music because of Sammy. And it's because of the fact that, being Hispanic has kind of pulled them into the genre. Yeah. So it's really cool to see that, and to see the variety of people that, even in like the middle of nowhere, Ohio, or like North Dakota or anywhere, people enjoying the fusion. And it's just a huge compliment. And it makes me really, really happy. And it's like, it's really inspiring to keep creating and keep pursuing that fusion for sure.
What has it been like for you going off of that as an artist, as an independent artist, paving your own path and maybe creating music that's not what everybody else is doing, especially here in Nashville? Like, what has that been like for you? And the rewards of it, I would say, to start with. Yeah.
Well, I first moved to Nashville in 2011, and I realized really quick that country music really embraces their loyalty to the genre, and I love that. That's one of the things that made me fall in love with country music. And so when people try to switch things up, it gets a little tricky. Yeah. But some people say it's a good thing because you stand out, but sometimes it could be a little too left field, and it could cause a little bit of like, why are you doing country? You should just do pop. Or like, why are you doing country? You should just be a Latin singer. I've gotten a lot of that myself, but I still stand very firmly with, in my head with, with my dream of becoming that representative for the Hispanic culture in country music. And there's been a ton of people that have done that in the past. But in today's modern country, there's not many people representing the Hispanic culture like clearly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they'll dabble in it. They'll be like, oh, I'm part Puerto Rican, or like I'm part Mexican, but like nobody's like doing it.
Yeah.
You know
they're
what I'm
not
saying?
going full on.
So it's definitely been an obstacle to overcome, because it's kind of like a business. It's like you walking in with a patent and something that hasn't been sold at stores. It's you gotta like sell it. You gotta really like come in with something that's convincing. So that comes down to the songwriting, the fan reactions, the videos, the music. But I think, you know, with where we are, with, you know, with the sound and how we've, you know, how far we've come with the fusion, I've never been more proud with how it's come along. And it's really exciting too, because I've noticed that a lot of people, you know, with me doing the Hispanic thing, a lot of other artists have felt comfortable with bringing that into their artistry as well.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's just because of me, but
it encourages other people.
It also encourages. It makes me feel happy too, because I've seen other artists in Nashville that have Hispanic descent, and with, you know, all the stuff that has been happening on the news and this year getting, you know, crazy with diversity and all that stuff. I'm now more than ever, country music is seeing the most diversity it's ever seen. So yes, it's been quite difficult to get that fusion across, but now it's been easier than ever. So if that answers your question.
No, it does. And to follow that, how did you navigate that feedback in the beginning when you were still kind of, you would take that feedback, maybe question it, but what made you continue in the path that you are in now, despite that?
Well, don't get me wrong. I mean, when I first started in Nashville, anybody who moves to a new city or does any career, they want to feel accepted. They want to be invited to everything. They want to be welcome to everything. So coming from a big city, you know, to Nashville, being, in my opinion, like night and day to Miami, at first I was like, should I try to fit in? Should I try to wear certain clothes? Should I try to speak a certain way? Should I try to say certain things in my songs that I normally wouldn't say? And I did some of that for a while, and it just wasn't feeling real. It wasn't feeling authentic. It wasn't feeling like true, like I actually experienced it. I was doing it from a place of like, invite me, like let me be part of your community. But I was like, it was a learning lesson. But then I started realizing that the second that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do me. I'm just gonna like do whatever comes natural, still keep it kind of country, but I'm just gonna do whatever comes natural. And that's when things actually surprisingly started working. Like things actually started working. Now there was a fear from doing that, because then, you know, in my head I'm like, oh, but what if I do me and they think I'm a pop artist? What if I do me and they think I'm just like some Latino singer? Yeah. But the reaction has been actually surprisingly great. So initially, to answer your question, it was definitely there was a fear to do that.
And you combated that by just continuing to move forward and see what works, what
and
doesn't.
And then some people, even some label people that I've met with, were even like, don't lose sight of that. Like that's what's gonna make you different in Nashville. Your rhythm, like the way that you say certain phrases, your melodies, like hammer the Latin thing. So ever since then, you know, I took their advice and I've been doing it ever since.
Would you say that 2020 in of itself has maybe strengthened that part of you that wants to continue going after what you really, really care about versus what everyone else is wanting you to pursue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, the lack of touring has made things very difficult. I love going on the road and meeting new people and just seeing reactions to new songs and new projects that I've been working on. You know, but this, you know, I could speak for everybody. This year's been really weird, but it hasn't hindered, you know, me from creating new songs and really honing in on my craft. We've been indoors for so much, and I've spent more time with my guitar and my inner voice, if that means anything. Yeah, no, totally. I've spent way more, the most time of any year with myself. So it's really brought a lot of new things to the light. And I've learned things about myself that I didn't know before. So yes, this year's had its downfall, but at the same time, it's had a lot of positives.
A lot of positives. So, and I'm all about starting and ending with positives.
Absolutely.
Negatives in between, but
mostly positives.
Mostly that. Which one of those is you got a major label cut called "Come Back to Me."
I did.
Talk about that song and how that happened, and you know.
Well, it was cool because when I actually lived in LA in 2016, 2017, sometime around there, and I was set up to write with a good friend of mine. Her name is Shaylin Carroll, but her artist name is Shaylin, and she's killing it right now in the pop scene. You guys check it out. And I actually got together with her just to write something, and we had a track sitting in our email, and I had this title in my phone. Called it's all I said was, I like the old you better. And it was pretty much of like, the title was inspired by, just somebody being in a relationship that kind of like plateaued and like things just got boring and didn't go anywhere. And then instinctively I was just like, dang, like I miss the old you. I miss the old person. And the fact that somebody's saying that, it's kind of like you're almost like mentally cheating on the current version of that person by only thinking about the last one. And so it's like you're not present.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I really would like to write about that. That would be really cool. And so we wrote it from the perspective of like, I'm still in love with the old you. I'm not in love with the current you. And so then Shaylin was like, this would be a really cool idea for Chantel, who's another killer artist you guys should check out. And and then she had a session with Chantel, brought her the idea, and then Chantel brought it to her producers, and the song came to life. And it came out sometime in mid-May, and it's, I'd say, like a 2.5-year-old song, and it's really cool to see it finally come to life and hit people's earbuds.
Talk about the timing of the songs that you've released, because I've noticed kind of, it sounds like the pattern for you is you have these songs and they're sitting here waiting for that right moment to either land in someone else's creative space or to stay within what you're trying to do. So talk about just that timeline of how you typically choose a song, even if it is a year ago or maybe you wrote it a week ago. And
it's crazy because, there's two different, like, I hit two different emotions when it comes to like choosing songs. Like there's the songwriter emotion, like should I do this as a songwriter or should I do this as an artist? Like what's going on right now in the world? At the end of the day, I want to make the fans happy. Yeah. And I want to make sure that what I put out, it's relevant to the moment and people are going to resonate with it and relate to it. So a lot of it has to do with that, with just like where people's hearts and minds are currently in the world. But when it comes to songwriting and getting songs cut, there's really no like prediction. Yeah. It just comes out of the blue. Like for example, like Spencer Crandall just put out a project this year, and I had the honor to have a cut on the project. It's called Good Thing. And we wrote that song, I'd say maybe 2-3 years ago. And it was almost like an autobiography of Spencer. And he had always told me, he's like, look, man, this song really describes me, my childhood. And, when I took the daring chance to go after my dreams. And, I thought giving up football was going to be a bad move. I thought giving up that high school sweetheart was going to be a bad move. But turns out, it was a good thing. And so like Spencer told me that even though that he wrote that song at that time, that's what he was feeling at the time, it wasn't the right timing for the song and the world to kind of come together. So I mean, that's kind of how he handled that. Yeah. But then on my side of things as an artist, I just like to keep things uplifting, I guess. And especially with this year, perfect example, everybody's feeling low, they're in the dumps, they're depressed, they're uptight about something. So I had to get them dancing. I had to give them something happy and something positive for them to groove to. And so that, if that answers your question, that's how I chose something we can dance to. Like I currently don't know what the next song is.
And that's okay,
and that's okay, because the universe and your emotions are constantly changing. So we'll see where I'm at beginning of 2021. If I'm happy, you'll get a happy song. If I'm sad, you might get a sad song. Or if I'm sad, you might get a super positive song because I don't want to be sad no more. Or one of those like sad songs that sounds happy, because then it's kind of like, wait a second, what am I supposed to feel? But it doesn't matter because it's It's funny because I've actually watched some hit songwriter interviews, and they say that some of the most successful songs are like the really emo lyrics with upbeat beats. Interesting. Okay. So next time you go and listen to some of your favorite pop songs, listen to the lyrics. like separate the lyric from the beat,
Okay.
and you'll actually like realize like
Like a
they're
Dua Lipa song, honestly.
well, yeah, like Don't Start Now.
Yes.
It's like don't show up, don't come out, and it's
Right.
like that's a sad lyric.
I was like, don't talk to me.
Don't talk
but...
to me anymore. I'm sad. I'm depressed. Like I'm over it.
Yeah.
But the beat's super happy and everybody's
Right.
dancing, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? So there's
Yeah.
a cool contrast when it comes to like picking songs and putting them out to the universe.
Yeah, and I think keeping things uplifting is so important too.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
always.
you don't want to dismiss emotions. You don't want to dismiss what's
Mm-hmm.
currently happening, but sometimes choosing which I feel like honestly with the Libby show, that's what I'm trying to do. You know, as a whole is
Yep.
yes, life is hard, but how do we still find the good? How do we still?
I mean, the
look
yellow,
at
the yellow says it all.
Chair.
The yellow says it all.
The yellow says it all, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everyone can go dance to something we can dance to.
That's right.
On YouTube, you can stream it everywhere.
That's right.
And anything else that people should know about this song, about what you have going on? Any previews to projects down the road that
Yeah.
we need to know?
Well, I recently became a member of a really cool project called the 615 House.
That's right. Yes, yes.
Yep. And I'm really excited to be a part of that. A little bit about the 615 House. A lot of people ask me this question. There's a thing called the Hype House in LA, which is a social media influencer house, which is where a lot of young kids that have tons of followers on like the TikToks, the Instagrams of the world, they actually live together in this house. And they just collaborate on a bunch of videos, on a bunch of content together. They do a lot of events together. And we really thought that would be a cool idea to implement in the Nashville scene. So we've been doing that here in Nashville. And so we called it the 615 House. But I will give the credit to my good friend Ashley Cook and Chris Rudiger. They were the two that came up with the killer idea of bringing the house to life. And then they reached out to some of their closest peers that they've collaborated with in the past. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the artists selected. And then as we go, we do a bunch of videos. If it's not like singing videos, it's like kind of goofy videos of like High School Musical or Disney songs or jumping in the
Which
pool.
are the ones that people forget about, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've had a ton of fun with it. And we're really excited to see it grow. We were able to hit, I believe, under 60 days, we hit 500,000 followers on TikTok.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Okay,
which
cool.
is freaking mind blowing. But to be part of something like that, it's really, really cool. And it's really brought a new path to my artistic career that I never thought I'd venture down. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. So.
Right. So where can everybody follow the 615 House? Keep up with you.
Well, if you guys go on TikTok, you guys can type in the 615 House. We post quite often. I think we post like a video a day. So if you guys want to get your daily dose of laughs and daily dose of awesome music, you guys can check it out on TikTok. And we could also, you guys can also check it out on Instagram Reels. We do a bunch of stuff on Reels as well. Just follow us, the 615 House on Instagram. And yeah, a lot of cool things to come.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Sammy, for being here, and congratulations on the new music video.
Thank you so much.
You can watch it now on YouTube and stream the song everywhere. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the Libby Show. Have a great weekend. See you later.
Hey y'all, I'm Sammy Arriaga, and my new single, Something We Can Dance To, is officially out right now. You can check it out on any streaming service. You guys can actually check out the official music video as well on YouTube and on my website. Hope you guys like it.
It's the Libby Show. The Libby Show. It's the Libby Show. It's the Libby Show.